So my name is Tara Lausch. Get Your Wag On Pet Services is my business. I was here when I first started, just about 2 years ago, and at that time I had just left my tenure teaching career to start on this venture, and I was just offering dog training services, group classes at the time. So a little bit about me: I've got 2 cats and 2 dogs. They're all rescues. So this is Smudge and Mac, and Nikki and Logan. And Nikki on the left is probably one of the main reasons I got into dog training, as well as quite a few others. So my story, my why, kind of getting into this, I did a lot of volunteer work at the Georgetown SPCA. So between adopting my own 2 dogs and doing a lot of fostering and working with some dogs who had been at the shelter for a long time, I really wanted to help people keep their dogs in their homes and find the safest place for dogs to go. So I am certified. Unfortunately, dog training is not a regulated occupation. You don't have to become certified in order to print out business cards and start doing it. So I am certified. I've gone through quite a bit of programs. I'm in one now to become more of a behavioral consultant to deal with some more aggression issues. I think I differ a little bit from some of the other local trainers in that I really am the only force-free trainer in the area. I do not have any shock collars, choke collars, prong collars, regardless of the challenge of the dog. So everything I do is positive-based, rewards-based, nothing aversive. So I do offer group classes still. I offer basic manners classes. I offer reactive rover classes, so dogs who are a little bit leash reactive. I've offered some fun nose scent games classes. I do also offer in-home training, which in the beginning my business was almost all group classes, and it has now kind of become more all private training. The group classes are just kind of for fun. So most of my stuff is working with people in their homes for more behavioral problems. I try to do a lot of bite prevention. I'm a licensed presenter for a program called Family Paws Parent Education. So I do offer services to families with young children or who are expecting babies to try and make sure that there's a nice, safe, smooth transition. I've worked with a lot of families with young kids where we've had some snapping, almost to a bite scenario. We have actually had to unfortunately rehome a couple dogs where it just was not the safest place for them to be. So Be a Tree presentations as well. I go into the school and do presentations for kids to try and help them learn how to avoid a dog bite or how to interact safely with their own dog as well as strange dogs. And again, the family consultations. I have, do we have a timer, by the way? Because I don't know where.
Sorry, how many minutes do we have?
We have 6.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
I'll give you the thumbs up.
All right, I could talk all day. So, okay, so I have now in the last year added pet photography to my business. I found myself constantly taking photos of my own dogs as well as my clients' dogs, and just kind of thought it would be a nice, fun add-on to the business. The dog training itself can sometimes get a little bit emotional and challenging, so the photography is a nice little outlet. So I've started doing that. I'm doing some lifestyle pet photography, taking families and their pets out to kind of their own element. And I'm also working on some studio photography, which I didn't really think I would enjoy, but I have come to find out that I really enjoy it. So I'm going to be focusing on that a little bit more over the winter time when it's too cold to do photos outside. So I really have been trying to figure out how to, because we're so seasonal, figure out ways to get some different business during the time that dog training outside is not so profitable. So the photography has piqued a lot of interest, so I think that's going to go well. I'm really a big fan of giving back to the community. I am quite guilty of doing a lot of things for free, and I've really been trying to get a handle on that the last year as well, not giving all of my services away for free. But I still do. I just did a photo shoot for the Delaware SPCA last week. These are some of the dogs and cats we took photos of. So I do offer some free training services, free photography stuff to the shelter to try and help the dogs become more adoptable. And I was just telling her last night, I was a little flustered getting ready for today because I rescued a dog off of a chain in Rehoboth. So that was my evening last night. So I said, I hope he's not at home destroying my bathroom while I am here presenting. So That is it in a nutshell for me. I think I should be good on time.
You were right on
Yeah,
time.
Perfect.
Let's give Tara a round of applause, and we will entertain questions. Questions, yes. Two questions here.
Tara, I looked at your material, and unless I missed it, which is certainly entirely possible, in my weakened state, but I won't say that. But anyhow, what we have here is I don't see where you're located. And if you
I don't have a location, so that is a good question.
Okay, so you photograph in other people's houses.
Right.
And you train, and you don't have a...
I don't have a location that I rent, so I do sublet space at 2 doggy daycares. So Doggies at the Beach in Rehoboth, as well as Fur Baby in Milford. So I use both of their spaces to do my group classes. But all of my private training is done in the client's home. The photography is usually done kind of out and about in the environment. I'm actually talking to a local groomer about renting her space 1 day a week to do the studio photography.
The reason I was mentioning it is if you had forgotten it, I wanted you to know that it wasn't on your material.
Thank you.
That's the only reason. The second thing was to say when you give away your services for free, you know, free doesn't have any value. It's not perceived to have a lot of value. You could give a steep discount if you really want to show a lot of appreciation for some organization that you're helping, but I don't think I would do it for free.
I know,
Really.
I'm very guilty of that, and I'm trying to be more conscious of
Okay,
that.
just an idea.
We talked earlier, but could you give us some positive examples of how your business has taken off since your first presentation here?
Yeah, I presented here in the very beginning, I think in the first couple months maybe even, of when I had left teaching. So I did make quite a few contact with some of the, there were some business tables set up here, and I got a lot of information on just business things in general. Coming from an education background, I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge as far as the finance side of things. So that was a piece of it. And I did get some referrals, and I had connected with some people here in the audience.
I love your logo.
Thank
I think
you.
that's very cute. I wondered if you're really going to grow the pet photography, how you would differentiate pet photography from people photography, and what your skills are. You know, why someone would turn to you if they had a pet and they wanted this wonderful picture that they
It's a
would
good
keep.
question, because as I've started doing the photography, I now have people who are friends of mine asking me to do their weddings and their headshots and all these things that I really don't want to do. So I really would like to keep my niche as pet photography. There's a lot of wonderful photographers in the area that do weddings and engagements, and it's not really something I'm interested in, and I really think I will do better if I keep my niche just the dog. So that will be my focus. I am doing some other stuff which I think will be helpful just for practice, but I'm trying to avoid that piece of it. I think the biggest one up that I kind of have on photographers when it comes to dogs is the training. So I think I'm able to work with the dogs and the owners and help the dogs be more comfortable and really get photographs where the dogs are. I've had a couple people comment on my photos that the dogs look relaxed, they look happy. You can kind of really get a feel for the dog's personality in the photograph. So I think having the training experience helps with that.
And that's where I was going. That's what you need to communicate. That's what makes you different.
Thank you.
I have two questions for you. One is, we've had a number to this platform of pet owners, trainers, different types of pet services. Do you collaborate with any other pet service?
I do, mostly pet sitters and groomers. So there are two pet sitters I know. One's presented here, Dolly's Pet Sitting
Yes.
Services. So I network with Dolly's and For Your Spot. I do a lot of networking with Concord Pet and DJ's Pet Depot, which are both pet stores. I network with Pampered Pet Grooming Salon, and then I have a good connection with Rehoboth Animal Hospital. So, and that seems to be where most of my business comes from, is kind of networking with everyone in the
Resources,
same.
referrals. Perfect.
You know, that gave me another idea. A lot of those people need photography to support what they do. So you could be contracting to do their ad work with the pets. And we have one Million Cup presenter, oh my gosh, who's going to be here Saturday selling the dog treats, tail bangers.
Tail bangers, yeah, I know
You
that.
work with her?
Yeah.
With tail bangers? But I think that would be a really neat connection where you're not only selling the photography to the individual pet owner, but to the businesses who want to feature the animals.
That's a good idea.
As a pet owner, I've been to picture places to take a family picture with our adorable little dog, and the normal photographers don't have the patience for the dog.
Right.
So it's nice to know that you could go to a place where your dog is actually going to be comfortable and you'll be able to deal with the dog. So that's really refreshing.
Thank you.
Welcome again. We're glad to have you here. I had a couple thoughts that went through my mind, one of which I'll share with you. Are you aware that the International Poodle Show comes to the Eastern Shore at the Wicomico Civic Center in April?
I am not.
And they do come from all over the world, and there might be an opportunity there for you. I know one of the individuals that works at the Civic Center that lines up those events, so I'd be happy to help make that connection.
That'd be great. I would love to. I'm looking at, I know Dewey Beach has a list of like 5 dog events that they do every year. So I'm going to be contacting the mayor of Dewey because I'd like to get involved in some more of those things.
Very cool. The other thing, you mentioned about your value and giving free stuff. One of the things that I found with a lot of entrepreneurs is they struggle with how to set their price points, especially as they introduce new products. Did you have any challenges with that, and how were you able to do that?
I didn't have as much of an issue setting my price point with regular clients. I did have a bit of a problem the first year going through the growing pains of cancellation policies and rescheduling and things of that nature. So I had a really rough week or 2 of cancellations, and so I sat down and redid my contract, and I've made it very clear to clients when we meet about cancellations, rescheduling, refunds. So I'm pretty good with clients. It's when it comes to the homeless dogs and the SPCA and things of that nature, I'm a little bit more of a wuss.
How about when you expanded to the photography line?
That I'm kind of in the midst of doing. So yes, I am. I've set my prices, but the way I have my package set up, it doesn't quite fit what everybody wants. So, you know, some people now just want photos for Christmas cards, or they just want that one picture for the baby announcement. So I'm actually in the process right now of trying to determine how I'm going to price different things out.
Thank you. You mentioned that you do dog training and dog photography, and yet you told us about fostering a dog at the moment, a rescue dog. That seems to be a third aspect of your business. What
Yes.
will you do with that dog when you get home today?
Well, when I get home today, I will be managing that dog, both my dogs and my cats somehow. I have somebody coming to pick the dog up today to foster it. So I have a pretty large network of people in rescue, so we have found kind of a permanent foster home for him. So he will be leaving me today. Yes. Yeah, I do foster for the SPCA, so when it's planned, I will foster them, and I have kept dogs 2 to 3 weeks, you know, at a time, and I do tend to do some training with them and do photographs of them. But this dog in particular will be going elsewhere.
Tara, on the administrative side, I'm thinking as Robert Redford there about your profitability as a business growing. Are you working with any of our economic development resource providers?
No.
Okay, we want to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, because I should.
Absolutely. So what can we do as a community to help you?
I mean, referrals in general are great. I'd really like to start trying to reach out to people maybe who don't have dogs yet, but are considering to get dogs. I'd like to kind of start putting some packages together or consultations to help people kind of decide what the best dog for their home is prior to getting them, or let's do a package so you get your dog, you bring them home, and we meet within the first week that you have them. Because most of my calls come 6-8 months after the fact when there's already escalated problems that we now have to fix. So things like that. And the photography, I'd like to see that get boosted. So anyone who's looking for some holiday photos, that would be lovely.